When you are meeting someone who is doing very similar work, what would you do? You can choose to be jealous and live in your own world and never speak with this other person because you are afraid that person will steal your idea. I live in the mindset that you can only do so much as one person, and you can gain a lot more by talking to people and learning from each other. So today, I bring on science grad school coach who actually runs a really similar YouTube channel. Sure, I could have every reason to feel jealous about Elena's YouTube channel, but we have so much in common. I really enjoyed this conversation. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify some of the free resources that Elena is providing on her website and on her YouTube platform. Welcome back to PhD Coffee Time. This is the online community for you as PhD students to get motivation, peer support, and practical tips during your PhD.
It saves me so much time if someone who's already gone through it and has been successful at it just tells me how to do it, rather than me constantly trying to find stuff. But I also think having the free resources on like YouTube and things like that let me know if that person's worth trusting. If you want to come to my channel and get all my free resources, I'm happy to have you there. And if you want to dive in deeper with more paid stuff, I'm also happy to have that. But I'm not upset, if you just come for my free resources. I'm Elena Reister. I got my PhD in chemistry in 2019, and I founded the Science Grad School Coach, which is essentially a business that is helping primarily science grad school students, but all grad students kind of navigating grad school and specifically more of the research side of graduate school.
It's so nice to meet you over YouTube because I realized you make very helpful content for PhD students, and I couldn't help but realize we have a very overlapping audience. Can you share more about how can my audience learn about the resources you have made and what are the ways they can work with you and what are the benefits of them working with you? I am passionate to share resources for PhD students.
Yeah, so you can always find me at sciencegradschoolcoach.com. So that's my main website. And then I'll also give you a link for below to specifically get my free resources. So I have a few different resources that you can get. I have a productivity workbook specific for graduate school. I have a dissertation workshop. It's about a 30-minute workshop that kind of walks you through different things if you're just starting the dissertation process. And then I have 2 specific research guides. I have a 30-day research jumpstart guide that helps you if just starting out in your research and how to develop ideas, learn your field, and then create a research plan. And then I also have a research paper checklist. If you have data and you want to publish a paper, it walks you through my whole system for doing that. So it's kind of different resources depending on what stage you're in your PhD journey. And so talking about the benefits of working with me, so you can reach out to me on my website or also on Twitter at SAY Grad Coach. That's where I post a lot of my stuff, and then my YouTube channel as well at Science Grad School Coach. And primarily what I talk about is topics all around grad school, but again, specific to research. So I do some coaching, and specifically I've done dissertation coaching for students, helping them with navigating how to put together their dissertation outline and actually how to write dissertation chapters. I'm also currently in the works of creating online courses to actually help people at a kind of a cheaper cost, because I know it's difficult to have money in grad school. And so I have one that's focused on success in grad school. That's a little bit of a cheaper course where I talk about different things like mentorship in grad school, and then research and dissertation, creating a productive schedule in grad school. And then I'm currently working on a much larger course that's all about mastering your research. So going all the way from how do I understand even where my field is at, all the way up to how do I submit papers for publication and what journals to find. So that's kind of the different things that are going on in my business right now.
Wow, I can see you are really committed in this topic. Can you share a little bit about the why? Why do you care?
Yeah, so when I got started in grad school and even in undergrad, I started doing research in undergrad, and I was really frustrated because there was this underlying expectation that you knew how to do research. And I think even just the idea of knowing how to read research articles or knowing how to develop new ideas is really hard when you don't know what you're doing. And there's never, or at least for me, there was never a course that you could take that was like, here's how you do research. And so I got really passionate about helping other people because when I was in grad school, I would help kind of my lab mates and things like that after I finally learned how to do these things and it started to come easy to me. I wanted to, kind of share that with everyone else.
To defend any paid resources, because you can only justify someone's efforts paying the time and crafting a program. I'm a big fan of small business, and I think it's only the world having people like Elena having a different idea. There are more options in the world for people to pay the money and reshape maybe a PhD program with additional help. The society is shaped by small business owners, and the way we spend our money is a vote to tell people what we agree on. In exchange, you may be saving time in your PhD, then maybe that's worth 2 coffee or 2 dinner cost. And I think we are always programmed in the way that we get to PhD graduate studies, all of the resources are from a university or from an institution. I recently learned that there is also an importance of consulting a neutral person. When I transitioned my career, and this is not sponsored, so I can talk about it, Natalia, she had a workshop and that was her own business, but because of that workshop, I become more informed with what I wanted to do in my career, and I felt like that was a good investment in a sense. So before people type in the comments saying, please don't ask me to pay, I have free resources on YouTube, but like doesn't mean I don't support paid resources. This is my reasoning of it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in that I, also have a lot of free resources either through something like YouTube or through my website. And I think I also came from the perspective when I first started my business, I was like, well, I'll just figure it out all on my own. And I don't want to pay people to teach me things, right? It's just like when you go to a college class, like technically you're paying for that class.
Right.
And so I've had to learn that it saves me so much time if someone who's already gone through it and has been successful at it just tells me how to do it rather than me constantly trying to find stuff. But I also think having the free resources on like YouTube and things like that let me know if that person's worth trusting. If you want to come to my channel and get all my free resources, I'm happy to have you there. And if you want to dive in deeper with more paid stuff, I'm also happy to have that. But I'm not upset, if you just come for my free resources.
That is wonderful. And how can people stay in touch? Is there a newsletter to subscribe or something?
Yeah, so if you opt in or if you get my free resources, you will get onto my email list. You can unsubscribe at any time. So that's one way to do it and get something with it. And then also you can always follow me Twitter's at SAY Grad Coach. So just SCI and then Grad Coach. So that's where you can primarily follow me. And then I think I'm pretty much on all the other social medias as the Science Grad School Coach.
Elena, I'm asking for my audience since maybe they are considering to pay you and I want to know you're good. If there is a question they have for you and you don't know the answer, what would you do?
Yeah, so this has happened a lot to me already. If I don't know the answer, I'll generally try and find the answer either generally through other resources. Sometimes if it's more of a what would you do in the scenario, I might, confidentially ask people that I trust and be like, hey, what's your perspective? I've even given advice and then still gone and looked for other things and sent additional resources as well. So if I don't know the answer and I'm working with someone, or even if someone just emails me, I want to be able to give them a good, answer back. So finding a different resource that can better help them or something like that would definitely be an option.
I'm just trying to give you a hard time here, but
no, you're good.
Yeah. So this is coming to the end of this coffee hour with Elena, and since this is PhD coffee time, can you say one really helpful coffee break during your PhD that helps your research tremendously?
Yeah, so when I was doing my qualifying exams, one of the exams we had was an original proposal oral. So basically, it's a research proposal, but it's completely outside of your field. And I was like writing it, and I was like, I was basically done with it. I went to coffee with one of my friends, and I was like explaining how something worked. And she turned to me because I was like talking about micelles, and I was like, oh, you just put the micelles together, you put your thing in, and it's just gonna go into the micelles. And my friend turned to me and she's like, I really don't think that's how it works. And I was like, no, 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 it does. And I was like about to like submit this proposal, and she was like, we like kept talking through it, and she was just like, I don't think that can do that. Like, you've assembled something. Something isn't just going to go into the middle. And she was right. And so I had to go back. Ultimately, I really only had to put in one new sentence into my proposal, but it literally completely changed everything about my proposal. So that was kind of when I learned to actually really do your homework and don't assume you know how something works, especially if you're writing a proposal. And then also, when something goes wrong, fixing it may be way simpler than you think it's going to be.
Well, that's why we need more coffee time for PhD and have more exchange like this one.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you, Science Grad School Coach. This is a good PhD coffee time with you today. And I hope some of you guys can at least know she has a YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, go and subscribe and check out all of the extra tips that she have made videos of. I don't have the time to make all of this content, so I thank her for making this out there. Make it a habit of going to YouTube and improve your PhD over coffee time. There are many videos options out there, and Elena is doing many great videos. So please go ahead to her channel and show her some love.
Thank you so much for inviting me on and talking with me. I really enjoy your channel.
Thank you, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you for having me.